WCB Podcast, your source for all things Chicago Blackhawks and everything hockey. With your host, Jarom and Tanner. Let's do it. Jarom and Tanner.
All right, it's another edition of the WCB Podcast, part of the Hockey Podcast Network, presented by DraftKings and Raycon headphones. It's Jarom, it's Tanner, it's Nolly. What is up, boys?
Hi.
What's up? just watching the clock just kind of tick by until we get to draft day.
You know, this is a very bittersweet time for me.
Yeah, why is that?
One, it's episode 224, so obviously I had to come on.
Yeah.
Oh, two, the Maple Leafs have ruined all of the playoffs for me because they are exactly what everybody said that they were, and they just fooled me for one round. They were able to fool me for one round, and I got sucked right back in like I do every year. And they were exactly what we all thought.
I'm so glad too that I've used the social media clip of you saying this team is different.
Yeah, this team is different.
Hey, clip this. This team isn't different. Let me tell you, this team is exactly what they thought they were. But Connor Bedard.
Did you guys know the Blackhawks won the draft lottery?
They have
Does that mean
the best chances of getting Connor Bedard.
It's so funny. Like, I'm just like, I keep forgetting that we still have to actually draft him. I'm just like, they have him. Like, he's a Blackhawk, but
yeah,
not yet.
What if they just go, we're taking Michkov?
What if they trade down? Everybody's like, oh, they'll trade up their second pick, and they just trade down.
We actually want more second rounders. So if we can get like 2 for this first, that'd be great.
We're not going to use all of our second rounders because we're going to get more of them.
Trading that first overall pick would probably be like a lifetime worth of second round picks, though. Just one team, you never get a second round pick again. Just give us all your second round picks from
trade Edmonton for Draisaitl and McDavid.
Nah, not worth it.
Nah, give me Bedard.
They can't get it done, so whatever.
Draisaitl will be a free agent in 2 years anyways, right? When the Hawks are ready to compete. So we'll learn from Seth Jones and we'll make our.
Wait. Talking about Seth Jones.
Gotta learn. You gotta learn from history. You're doing to repeat it. Don't go and trade for the big piece.
Don't hire Stan Bowman.
Us.
Wait till they hit free agency. Yeah, absolutely.
Wait till hit free.
Yeah, right.
If you think Draisaitl's gonna hit free agency, I didn't tell you, man, not gonna happen.
Edmonton's got a lot. Edmonton's gonna have another 4 first overalls if Draisaitl doesn't re-sign there.
Yeah,
because then McDavid's walking and they need to rebuild.
Yeah, I don't know.
Get the tools back out. We gotta start building again.
Give me another Yakupov.
If they keep losing though, like they can't get the job done. Don't you think at some point these players are gonna be like, all right, I'm done. I'm walking.
You would think.
I don't know. It doesn't like hockey players are kind of a different breed where they don't really just go like, I'm out of here. Like I'm gonna go it's not very often you see guys saying like, I'm not resigning here, except for unless you play for Columbus. Yeah. Then you get Panarin, Duchesne, Brovsky.
Yeah. I think it's like something wrong with us mentally where it's what the definition of insanity. We're all insane because like everybody's like, no, if we just keep doing the same thing, it will change. Like, no, it's not going to change, but here we are, McDavid and Draisaitl out of the playoffs again. Leafs are out. Like, it's just, but there's something in us that's like, we can do this. Like, I know we can jump the hurdle. Like, we just get addicted to it where it's like, I know we can do it, but it just never happens.
It's just, they have to put up 200 points each season.
I mean,
Edmonton
worked out for Ovi. Let's just say maybe it does happen sometimes.
Yeah, that's true.
Edmonton only has 9 contracts signed when Draisaitl's a free agent. Never mind. I thought they were going to be kind of like screwed a little bit. No, they'll play money. Never mind.
No, but he's gonna want big bills, man. He's so underpaid.
But by 2 years too, that cap should theoretically go up pretty high.
He's making 8.5. Like, I remember when he signed that deal, it was like, what? Like, he wasn't like the Draisaitl that he is now. And now it's like, he should be making like double that, especially with how well he does in the playoffs.
Well, I mean, he's the second best player in the league, like every
Yeah.
year, basically
Every
behind
year.
the other guy on his team, and he's making $4 million less.
Yeah.
So, he's making 50% of his contract less than like McDavid does.
It's
Hockey players are so underpaid. It is ridiculous.
Anyway, so where should we start today?
All of that to talk about the Blackhawks getting Connor Bedard. 42
Yeah.
days.
we talked for like 20 minutes before we even started recording.
Just fucking jazzed about the draft.
Yeah, we're talking about we want to auto sim the rest of the playoffs, go right to draft night, and just see his name pop up. I
Do you
feel
think
kind of
that?
bad for the kid, man? He's gonna get booed in Nashville for his huge moment.
Oh, I hope he eats it up.
I'm sure there's gonna be plenty of Chicago people there just being like, yes,
Yeah.
fuck all of you.
There's so many Chicago people that moved to like already live down in Tennessee. Like it's not even like that far. Like it's 6-hour drive, like an hour. It's like 45-minute flight. Like,
yeah,
I'm probably going.
Are they gonna do the stupid? Oh, you have to have a Nashville or a Tennessee address to buy.
It's probably gonna be like you can't have a Chicago address because there's still gonna be people from like other states. They're gonna cheer on like their own team,
right?
Like Columbus isn't that far. Like if you want to see who you get like third,
Yeah.
Yep.
It's like, oh yeah, you can't if you have a Chicago address or an Illinois address. Like, nah, you're not allowed into the draft.
Nah, man.
Cool. I have an Indiana address. It's fine.
There you go.
Oh, hey, here you go.
Oh my god.
Close enough though. I don't know, but yeah, were you gonna say something only before?
When I had water in my mouth, no,
Yeah,
I'm
no,
good.
before. Okay, no, because I thought you were about to ask something. We kind of jumped into the whole Nashville thing, but all right.
Oh, do you guys think that this draft's going to be as deep as the 03 draft was? Like back in Nashville 20 years later, everybody's talking about like the depth of this draft. Do you think it's
was 03 in Nashville?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
It's something about the air there in Nashville.
Yeah.
Like the prospects are just like
Music City gets
so
the boys
sweet.
buzzing.
The way they're hyping this up,
Broad Street
you would
or
think
Broadway.
I know. That's like when they were doing the draft lottery, I wanted Bedard. Like I wanted number one, but like I wanted top two. Like Fantilli sounds like a great option. I mean, even Carlson sounds great. Mitch
yeah. The more I looked past the top two past Bedard and Fantilli, I'm like, oh fuck yeah, I would take Carlson. I take Smith. I take
top five. Top five would have been great, but like the way they're talking about every like how deep it is, it makes it seem like it's like we're gonna be looking back like the 03 draft, like the 15 draft, dude. That 15 draft's
I was about to ask you because everyone talks about 03 and you two always go in on the 03 draft. What is better now? Is it the 03 or is it the 15? Or is it still too early to call for 15?
I'd have to pull it up again, but it's probably too early to call for 15 because I mean you look at that 03 draft, I mean
McDavid, Eichel, Dylan Strome, Mitch Marner, Hannafin, Pavel Zacha, Ian Proloff, Zach Rowinski, Timo Meyer, Mikko Rantanen, Lawson Krause.
Mikko Rantanen's the only guy that, unless I missed somebody that you named that has a cup.
In 15?
Yeah.
No. Barzal, DeBrusque, Kyle Connor, Shabbat.
Wait, my favorite part of that draft is that
Boston
had 3 picks in a row, and they took DeBrusque, and the other 2 haven't made it to the NHL. And then the next 3 players were Thomas Shabbat, Kyle Connor, and
Matthew Barzal. Yeah, it was Jakub Zboril and Zachary Senyshyn. They have a total. Those 2 guys have a total of 80 or 92 games played between the 2 of them with 19 points.
Didn't both of them not make it out of conditioning camp too?
Yeah,
for the draft.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Aho was a 2nd-round pick that year.
Yeah, it's nasty. 2015 is disgusting. The funny thing too is if you look at it at like 37, that's Boston's next pick. They got Brandon Carlo, who's probably like one of their better defensive defensemen.
You're just taking him.
But how wild was that too? When Boston only had the 1 pick, and they traded. What was it, Milan Lucic for one of the first rounders, and then they had like acquired Martin Jones or something like that as a part of it, and then traded him like immediately back into San Jose from LA.
Yeah, here I'm trying to pull out the Kings' first round pick went to Boston as a result of the June 26th trade that sent Lucic to LA for Jones, Colin Miller, and that pick. The Calgary Flames first round pick went to the Boston Bruins a result of a trade that sent Dougie Hamilton to Calgary in exchange for Washington's second round picks, which was the 45th and 52nd overall. And so Dougie Hamilton was one of the picks.
Yeah. So the Martin Jones thing I was talking about, though, it was Lucic, like you said, for Jones, Colin Miller in the first. Then they traded Jones directly to San Jose for Sean Corrali and a first round pick in 2016.
Yeah.
That's so funny.
I mean, granted, there's obviously the 03 draft, like the players were around a lot longer. There's not many of them even left, but like Marc-Andre Fleury, 3 cups, Eric Stahl, a cup. Then you got Nathan Horton, Thomas Vanek, Milan Mihalik, Suter, Phaneuf, Carter, 2 cups, Brown, 2 cups, Seabrook, 3 cups, Parise, Getzlaff, a cup, Burns, Kessler, Mike Richards, 2 cups, Dan Boyle, Corey Perry, cup, Patrick Eves, Louis Erickson, Frisch Bergeron, Shea Weber, Corey Crawford, David Backes, Jimmy Howard, all in the second round. Like,
yeah, okay, 03 probably still has it.
I mean, you have to give him a couple more years because, like, I mean, Eichel might win a cup this year, so I mean, he might get added to that list of guys in that draft that get a cup. But like,
put that out there,
God, dude, that's depth and champions, you know?
Yeah.
Oh my God. A 5th round pick for Minnesota, 15.
Who?
Kaprizov.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah, because he's like Mitchkov, where like they weren't sure when
if he'd ever come over.
Yeah.
If Mitchkov drops to 19,
trade up for Mitchkov.
Well, that's one of the things that they're talking about, because we kind of mentioned, but like Kyle Davidson already came out saying that he's not gonna likely use all of the draft picks that he has like stocked in the cupboards. And
they have what, 4 second rounders this year?
2 first, 4 second, and what was it, 2/3? They have 11 picks in this draft, and I think it's 8 in the first 3 rounds.
Yeah, that's correct. So one of the things that a lot of people have been throwing out there is like obviously moving up in the first round, and one of the things that is kind of makes a lot of sense would be to like trade with somebody like Vancouver, who's sitting at 11. And they have 0 fucking cap space going into next year. So like they need to move players, and Hawks have tons of cap space, and they can just do what they did with Toronto like a couple of years. Yeah, look, last year actually, because oh my God, this year felt so long, but got Mrazek in a first for a second. If we can get like any kind of roster player that kind of helps bring us to that cap floor, that first round pick for like a second rounder, and end up with like the first overall, the 11th and the 19th, that'd be pretty disgusting.
They haven't officially announced the cap, salary cap, and like the cap floor yet for next season, have they?
No. Everybody's saying though it's only going to go up like $1 million.
So that means
Vancouver's sitting at like 83 million right now though too.
So that means the lower would go up $1 million too then?
Oh, probably.
Okay.
Let's see. Projected cap hit right now. Oh no. It says the salary cap is supposed to be 83.5 million for next season. It shows it on Cap Friendly. I don't know if it's like official or it's just kind of like calculations that they put forward, because like 2 seasons from now it's like 87.5, and then 3 seasons from now it's at 92. But
Cap Friendly is pretty amazing. I wouldn't put it past them for
I'm sure that they probably know. But even if it's at 83.5 next year, then Vancouver is sitting at 84, a little over 84 million. So they got to shed some cap. And I don't know if that includes the guys that they have on LTIR. I'm assuming it does.
I don't know. Cause like at some point, cause going in to next season, including your LTIR, like your LTIR guys count against your cap until game 1. So I don't know if it's switched yet or
You can only be 10% above the cap.
Right.
Yeah, for certain points. So
God damn.
I
And
just-
well, they're
What's the point of
I'm
the cap?
so
I'm
confused.
10% over. Like,
well,
that's why I think they should go
Damn.
to a soft cap.
yeah, luxury tax for anybody over, I think.
I mean, Toronto's just gonna fucking beat the New York Yankees of the NHL.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter. They can't win. Next year they'll get 2 wins in the second round, and then next year after that they'll get 3 wins in the second round.
Oh man, we're already taking
But
shots.
anyway,
You know what, if
Vancouver, if they're like cap strapped and they need to like move some players, there's too many people online thinking that we're going to be able to get somebody. Like, it would be nice to get Brock Besser. I think that'd be cool, like a little change of scenery, but like he's still a solid player. I don't see them giving him up really for just like a second and package him with their first. It's kind of fucking stupid. But
yeah, you just never know when teams are that strapped against the cap on what they're gonna do. And there were so many rumors that they wanted to move on from Besser, but like, I just
right.
You
That
trade
or
a first and Besser for a second. That's tough, man.
I mean, what if it was like a couple seconds? The other thing that I was thinking on my drive home today was obviously like they need cap space, but you're gonna want to fill that slot too with a roster player that's going to be cheaper. And in the I was just kind of thinking, like, what if it was Besser and a first for like a second and like Kurashev?
I don't know if I want to move from Kurashev though.
Right.
No, if it's Besser, give me
Besser's a guaranteed like 50 points. Kurashev is sometimes he's first line material, sometimes he's third line material. Like, the consistency I wish was better, but he's still only like 22 or 23, 24.
Yeah.
But Besser's only like 20, 25 or something. Like, how old is fucking Brock Besser? He's 26. So he's slightly older. He's proven that he can put up at least 20 to 30 goals, like right in that range. And Kurashev's put like 9 goals up this past season.
He had a pretty decent. I mean,
no, guys, I got the trade. It's Seth Jones.
Yeah, they're gonna take it on the cap. Where's Kurashev? Kurashev is just like, he's nice and cheap, so like he would.
He's an RFA, so like you do have to sign it. He's not gonna get any.
He had 9 goals and 16 points in 70 games.
16 assists.
Or 16 assists. Sorry, 25 points.
So 25 points.
Dash.
Like he has upside, but it's just like, I think if you can get Besser for like a second and Kurashev and Besser in a first, like if they're that desperate, pull the fucking trigger.
This too, though, it's like, are you thinking Besser being a part of this team long term or are you just looking to try to get through this rebuild period for Bedard and like the rest of this young core to get ready and then just move on from him? Like,
I think
that's
he can be like the half
with me. That worries. Just taking shots.
Hey, you know what? If we get another Havlat type and move on from him to sign another Hossa type, I'm all in. That's fine with me.
Because my concern about going for like a player like him, it's like, unless you're getting like the return is just really fucking good,
you're getting an 11th.
Okay, yeah.
So that's what I'm saying. Like, in order to make that trade,
would you package the 19 with it too?
Would you be? No, absolutely not. I'm saying it would be a second in Kurashev for Besser and the 11th. Because it depends on how desperate they are to shed cap. And like you said, like they were trying to move Besser. Like, if they're really serious on moving him in order to shed cap, and like if we can acquire the first, if it takes Kurashev in a second, like I'd be like, fuck yeah, do it.
I guess my question
the 11th is the biggest part about it. If Besser turns it around and is a really good player for the Hawks, that's a bonus.
He's only making 6.65 for the next 2 years. Say it doesn't work out and you need to be at the cap floor anyways. That's all of next year and then the year after, and then you can even let him walk or trade him at the deadline.
Exactly. The main piece is the 11th overall.
That's really turning. I meant to ask without me actually asking it. I'm like, are you guys okay with him possibly walking because of his?
It depends on how well or bad he's playing. If he's playing well, then what a great trade. You get the 11th and you get this guy and you sign him to a new contract and he's a part of the future. or he's the veteran for your future, or he's not playing well, or he's playing just well enough to where you're like, we don't really want him for the future. You flip him at the deadline, or just let him walk.
That's gonna be the time when he's due his next contract. That'll be around the time that you're gonna have to start thinking about
that's right, exactly.
And all those.
That would be the perfect scenario for a contract. Like, it's really not that much right now, but it gets us to the floor. Like, he's on a good deal, and then it expires right before.
You got to pay the big guy.
So other than Besser, like, people toss around. I mean, obviously, it's all just like fan theories and fan tossing around names and shit. But like, Connor Garland's another one that like people say, and then like Tyler Myers.
Yeah.
So like Tyler Myers is the least I'd want.
Like 1 year left.
Yeah, but also like if we're gonna try and play like some other of our younger defensemen like into that third line, because we already have 4 guys signed, like I don't see the point in bringing Tyler Myers in unless it's just a fucking straight cap dump with the first for future considerations.
Maybe try and flip him at the deadline this year.
Or like
you have Jones, you have
second
you have Murphy, like you have.
Does Zaitsev even play? Like, do you think he even plays, or they bury him kind of like Ottawa's doing?
Oh,
Zaitsev.
I mean, he played out the rest of the games last year. Why wouldn't they just let him play?
I feel like even if you're not going to re-sign him, you're going to want to try and up his value by like letting him play and then possibly moving him at the deadline.
Yeah,
or using him as a trade piece, like in the offseason. I don't know. Like, we got him with a second for nothing.
he's up after this year. So
part of me still feels like one of those defensemen, the 4 that are signed, locked in, will not be on this team come the first night. I feel like he might move maybe Connor Murphy, because I think he might have the best value and easier to trade.
The most movable with the best value. Yeah.
I don't know where he would go, but I mean, back to like Vancouver, when you're talking about Garland, like the Canucks came out and said like he's not going to be on their roster by opening night.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So if they were to package him, that's the thing. It's just how great would it be to get the 11th, but ends up being like how desperate is Vancouver to move Cap,
right?
That they'll give up the 11th overall.
Right.
Like that's what we're trying to get, right? And like, how aggressive is Davidson going to be during this? Because like there's other teams that have the cap space going into the off season, but like do they really want to do that? That's the best part about the way the Hawks have their cap right now, is like they're barely locked into fucking anybody. So
dude,
they can
the most cap space out of anybody in the NHL, and they're about to get a generational talent. Like,
yeah, and he's only going to be making about $900,000. Well, it's gonna be like 2.2 3.5 or something after like rookie bonuses, but that only gets tacked on to like next year or something like that.
Yeah,
it's so weird.
Year. I know. Which
they have a GM.
That's screwing the Bruins next year, because Krejci and Bergeron hit their player bonuses for next year, so they're really screwed.
Is next year finally Boston falling off? God.
And Pasta's kicks in next year. Like I don't even know if if Bergeron and Krejci wanted to come back. I don't even know if they would have the cap space to do it.
Yeah, unless they just go like league men. It's like, we made our money. Like, we're gonna do like the Joe Thornton, Patty Marleau thing.
Yeah. Big men and just take like a bonus.
Swayman's also an RFA, so they have to sign him.
Is there any other teams that you think that the Hawks could move up from?
That's what I was
like move up with.
And pull up the top, like the first round positions.
I wonder, what about like Washington?
That's what I'm looking at their team right now,
because they're going all in with Ovi as long as he's there. They don't even care if they win the cup. I feel like they want him to break that record. So like, why they have 8th overall? Like, why take that when you can get a player that could help out?
Yeah, but who could we give them for 8th?
Right, that's what I'm trying
to
think.
That's like where I'm thinking, like, if they wanted Connor Murphy to help out, but like he's not an 8th.
He's not.
Like, it would be Connor Murphy and the 19th to move up to 8. And then, like, what we're hoping that Mitchkov falls to 8.
Yeah, I think Mitchkov falls to 8th. Washington's taking him, and they're gonna.
Oh, if they haven't moved that pick.
Over.
What about? Yeah, that's true. Yeah, Well, he's signed in the K through next season, so it
But
wouldn't be.
apparently that is not a deal breaker as big as people are making it seem.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not the same as the 90s when the fucking wings
there
are
was-
getting
yeah.
every Russian player.
Well, I don't know. I heard this somewhere. His dad was like found dead in a lake somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fucking what?
And he tried voiding, like before he died, he tried doing something that would void his son's contract so he can get to the NHL faster.
Oh my god.
Russia's fucking nuts.
But there was also
Yeah,
there was a player that Washington drafted who was playing in the KHL, signed a contract extension in the K, and just had it voided, and he signed with Washington. So
maybe it's because I'm sure Ovi probably is just like,
I was gonna say it's probably
Putin,
something to do with Ovi. So
let me get this record in the NHL and be known as the best goal scorer of all time, and it'll be a Russian.
yeah. I keep seeing that Kuznetsov doesn't want to be in Washington anymore. But what would you? I mean, he's older, only 1 year left on the contract. What about like a Tyler Johnson? And then you throw in like a Radish or a Kurashev.
So I'm like way higher on Radish than I am on Kurashev at this point. Like I love Kurashev, but Radish to me is so much more.
No,
that's what I'm saying. Like what? Like
that type of
Washington, I'm not taking. I'm pushing for like a Radish, or a Ketchuk. Like I want one of those guys.
Oh, you can take Boris. I don't care.
Did you mean Kurashev?
Yeah. I mean, I'm looking at like all three though, but like obviously, I think Radish is the most
valuable.
As the most, as the most valuable. And like they're the eighth. They have the 8th overall. Like they're not strapped like Vancouver. Like they're gonna want more than just like a Kurashev kind of guy.
I can't lose 2 Hagels that close together.
I mean, I absolutely could. That's fine. Fucking, if you're getting the 8th overall and you're getting like another just fucking unbelievable player that can come in within the next like couple seasons,
we got to figure 1 through 7 is not going to move.
Yeah, more than likely, right?
I mean, top 5.
Like, there's no way. Anaheim's not doing anything. Columbus, San Jose, they're not doing anything. Montreal, no fucking way. Arizona, nope. Philly, nah. Washington, yeah, that's got to be like the most possible of the top 10.
Yeah.
And we're not making a trade with Detroit or St. Louis.
I was gonna say St. Louis, probably like after Vancouver, like it's probably Washington, Vancouver, and then St. Louis out of that top 11. But then other than that, I really don't see anybody wanting to move anything.
I would be really terrified that Stevie Y would work some fucking voodoo magic.
You can't trade with Stevie Y.
Get our first overall pick. Like, how the fuck?
Like,
Kyle Davidson hangs up. Like, what just happened? Like,
we end up with like.
You made it seem like I was getting the first overall pick. Kyle, we had it already. What are you talking about?
Yeah, I don't know. Like,
I
think there's going to be some crazy shit going on because a lot of teams need cap space. Like, there's a lot of
I mean, honestly, if Davidson slings like multiple picks out in order to move up in the draft, like fucking do it. Like, especially if it's like next year or something like that.
I was gonna say we have that Tampa's first round next year too. So I mean, like,
that wouldn't be bad to move Tampa either.
You know what I mean?
Take the Tampa approach and just say fuck draft picks.
No,
fuck draft picks. We're gonna take these other draft picks.
Yeah, sooner draft picks, not later.
Yeah.
Also, that's the Florida move because Florida does not have many draft picks.
Do they even have a first this year? No, right?
No.
Florida,
I don't think they have one next year either.
They don't have one until 2026, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Technically, the next 2014 or 2024, 2025 are conditional. So they could potentially still have it, but
hilarious.
Yeah, but they won't.
No. Dude, I mean, just speaking about this Florida pick, but this one currently this year was traded for Sam Reinhart, and then Devin Levi was a part of this trade. I thought that Devin Levi was drafted by Buffalo. I had no idea he was a fucking 7th round pick.
Jesus.
Yeah, and he'll probably end up being like Buffalo's like starter. Yeah, it's
And
insane.
Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen.
Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen.
I want him to be the starter so bad, just because I love saying his name.
I'm still upset. Like they got to trade for Gibson, like proven fucking starter.
Did you see? I saw on was it that Puck Empire or something like that from
Instagram?
Freege? Yeah, on
Or
Instagram.
what?
I think they had Freege said it that it was like Pittsburgh, Buffalo, and one other team were looking at Hellbuck.
Oh yeah,
I mean,
that'd be kind of sick.
that would be
Bucky to Buffalo.
Yeah.
Bring in Kane too. Dude,
Yeah.
like 2-3 pieces away.
I know, and one of them's goalie, and there's two huge options out there for them. Like, especially like Hellebuck only has 1 year left on his deal. Like, you bring him in and let Levi and Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen like see what he does. Like, even if you don't re-sign him after that, like at least get these guys somebody other than Craig Anderson in front of them.
Yeah, or Malcolm Subban and
Yeah.
fucking or Eric Comrie.
Yeah, like you got to stop bringing these washed up old guys. Like I'm sure it's great as like a pro, and like I love Craig Anderson, and he's had a great career, but like it's over. Like
I don't know what it is with these teams that have like the offense to fucking light it up, go and like, yeah, we're just gonna have like a backup goalie.
Yeah,
fucking Edmonton, Toronto, fucking Buffalo. It's like, oh my god.
I know.
We have some of the best goal scorers in the league, but guess what? These goalies here, those guys are fucking AHL quality.
Hawk Empire says it's the Sabres and Devils are two teams that show interest in Hellebuck.
Interesting.
That's weird.
Devils just had a great season.
I mean, they didn't have a great playoff, but like
their goaltending
was a lot of upside.
Yeah, I mean they used what?
Yeah, still very young.
What?
They used like 3 or 4 goalies this playoff.
I think it was just the two. It was just him and Schmid.
Yeah. Him and Akira.
Schmid.
Was other than just like moving up in the draft, was there any players you think that Davidson's going to look at with possibly moving just some picks straight for players?
I mean, how would you guys feel about going after DeBrincat again?
I honestly would love it.
But again, I go back to what I said about learning from our mistakes and taking our chance of him hitting the market or signing that way.
Oh, right. But
he's an RFA though.
He's an RFA.
Though, is it 1 more year RFA?
No, he is an RFA this summer.
No, I know. I'm saying though, like if after the season, is this his last offseason?
Yeah, you'd probably. I think he's a UFA. Next, if he signs a 1 year deal, he's a UFA.
Right. That's what I'm saying. So,
yeah.
And it sounds like if he's gonna have a contract from Ottawa, unless Ottawa moves him, he's only signing his an offer sheet. Like he's only gonna do a 1 year deal because he told him he's not signing long term there.
Yeah, I mean the other thing is they could trade him and then that team signs him to like an 8 year deal.
Right. That's what I was getting at.
Like I think I would rather move even just like the 19th and maybe something. Honestly, I'd rather move just like 2 seconds. or Tampa's first next year or something like that.
What if you do like a second rounder this year and then that Tampa first rounder next year? Like,
yeah,
he's not going to sign there anyways. Like, they should try and get something out of him, but like, there's really not this UFA and like this UFA year isn't that great. Honestly, it's a bunch of older guys that are probably going to go league min or like 2-3 year contracts like that. If we were 2 or 3 years into like having Bedard, they'd be perfect. But like right now, it just none of them make really that much sense.
It's like it's a really disappointing UFA season in terms of like, oh, cool, exciting deals coming up. But for the Hawks, it's best case scenario because there's not going to be that little shiny new toy just floating out there to be like, oh, do we pull the trigger and go for this? It's like there's no excuse to not wait and let this develop. And that's
1 more year.
I fucking love it. I love it.
1 more year, like literally, like I don't want them to be ass like they were this year, but I I don't expect them to make playoffs, and I don't want them to push for playoffs. They're not ready yet, and I don't want them to be.
So just looking at like the UFAs that are available this offseason, the one that kind of intrigues me now that I sorted by fucking points. What about like Alex Killorn as somebody who'd play the wing, kind of like a hard-nosed fucking like player?
He's one of the best. He's up there with Pavelski to me on like tipping.
Yeah.
He's unreal.
I mean, you can get him to come in. He's 33, so it wouldn't be long term, but he's going to probably want to make more than 4.45 that he's made over the last, 8 years, 7 years? 7 years. And we have like we keep saying, we have to reach the cap floor. Having somebody like that can play on Connor Bedard's line where he helps him out and is a fucking veteran who's won cups. And
the only thing that would make me nervous about that is he's been through it. I feel like when Jarom got traded from the Hawks, it was he went to Arizona and was like, okay,
fell apart.
That's my time to recover my body. And that's what Killorn would be like, because he's been through it and he's had some injuries and stuff. So that would be the only thing. But I mean, I don't hate that him and Johnson back together too. Here
and Radish.
And Radish, yeah.
And Kachuk.
The Chicago Lightning at this point. But okay, so I guess a question when you're kind of thinking about players to bring in, what
Tyler Bertuzzi.
Yeah. What term are you guys looking at ideally? Obviously 1 year picking
short term
contract, but are you talking 1 to 2, 2 to 3?
2 to 3.
2 to 3.
It depends. If they're closer to 30, probably 1 year deals, just so it's kind of the Athanasiou and Domi deal where you're like, hey, if it's that type of player, we're like, hey man, this is gonna be a year that we'll sign you to this kind of deal. We'll see if we can move you at the deadline and get you on a contender. And that way they can retain salary if they need to, and get some more draft capital or some prospects that are looking better. But if it's an older player, someone like Killorn, who's probably not going to be cup chasing as much, 3-year deal.
Give us half a season of Phil.
Yeah. Bring Phil Kessel in.
I mean, this year is the one that would make the most sense to have him come in.
Yeah.
He just needs a contract. We can
for sure keep his Iron Man streak going if he comes here.
100%.
That's how you sell it to him. But I mean, look at these guys. Top I don't know what this is sorted by. Maybe I think it's by their previous contract how much they're making. But Taze, they're not coming back. Yeah, Tarasenko, he's not going to come to Chicago. O'Reilly. Pacioretty, he's hurt all the time. Van Riem's
I would take a shot at Pacioretty in a 1 year.
That's what I was saying. Take a shot. It helps bring you.
He's gonna want to come though. He's not gonna want to come here.
Cool, yeah, but that's the thing. What team is gonna want to sign him?
Yeah,
that's fair.
That's one of those things where it's you get him on a 1 year deal. You give him the same-ish contract. You get at the deadline, trade him to a contender. Basically, just be like, hey, we'll get you to a playoff team. And then fucking get them half off to a playoff team, and that's a good fucking deal.
Yeah, I would take a shot at Patches, 100%.
I mean, Klingberg wants to get paid.
I don't think Klingberg's gonna be worth it. I think Dallas was so right to just be like, yeah, man, you can go.
Yeah,
look where they're at. They're in the fucking Western Conference
almost 30 minutes a night. They didn't need him.
Yeah,
Monahan hurt all the time. Meyer wants a. I don't think it's the right time for Meyer. Dubois wants to go to Montreal. Dumba is going to want to get way too overpaid.
I don't think they even look at defensemen, right?
No.
It's just forwards.
Yeah.
Unless they move a Connor Murphy at the draft, maybe they look to bring in somebody defensively. But I don't know. I can't imagine with how many guys we have in the pipeline. Why keep that clogged?
What about
give all these guys an actual shot now?
Yeah, exactly.
What about a JT Comfer, little hometown kid?
They do love doing that.
I've heard Zucker getting thrown out there a little bit.
I mean,
That's just I don't know how I feel about that one, but I mean that's a name I saw from a couple people.
Like it's just going to be the same as like this past season, man. Like they're going to get guys that can fill in on the roster and aren't going to be here long term. That's pretty much what it is. And I'm sure they're going to probably look more towards like veterans that can show Bedard and like the younger guys that are going to be making the roster like how it's done. Yeah. They're not looking to add for fucking 7-year deals. Or I honestly, I would be surprised if there was very much more than like a 2-year deal, because I mean, this past offseason, did he sign any? I don't think Davidson signed anybody to.
Oh, one person. Oh shit, who was it? Because I remember, because I thought it was really
Blackwell.
Weird. Yeah, Blackwell. Did he 2 years?
Yeah, he's a 2-year deal, but I mean that's not more than 2.
There's nobody besides Murphy and Jones signed after next season.
Yeah, and those weren't even Davidson's contracts.
No, I was saying he signed. Blackwell was the only multi-year contract he signed last offseason.
Oh, only multi-year. Only more than 1 year. Yeah,
everybody else.
Yeah, I could see
1 year.
I could see him doing that again. I mean, it's works out so good because of just future cap implications. Like we're not tied into like somebody for so long, and I mean just with what he did over the offseason too, when he brought in like Jason Dickinson as like a cap dump from Vancouver. It's like, well, he was one of our like better producing players and like playing PK and everything like that.
I was gonna say him on the PK was awesome.
Yeah, well, I would love to keep Jason Dickinson, but I mean, if he plays like he did this past season, like he's going to be traded to a contender at the deadline next year.
So KD did an interview last Friday on 670 The Score, and he was kind of talking about the mindset, and so kind of talking about what you're talking about with the cap situation. And it's great to hear that he's on this mindset. He basically said, the collection of picks and cap space is obviously favorable. Almost everything there is by design, minus the number 1 pick, because that's something just very fortunate. But the draft picks, the cap space is all by design for good reason for this rebuild. I think that we've seen how we've studied the landscape of the NHL is that you can really stunt your ceiling and upside as a team by spending too early. So he definitely has the mindset of like 1-year deals, cheap contracts, like let's not be locked in too long.
He's the opposite of anything Bowman has ever been. Like Bowman would have been throwing money at every single person as soon as he heard that Bedard, like we got first. Like
it would have been over.
Dude, Bowman would probably
be at the cap already.
Max contracted to Brinkett to bring him back, then we lose fucking 4 draft picks, first-round picks, and
yeah, he
also,
honestly, I love everything that he's done. Like,
and he also said,
like contract-wise, he's doing everything exactly how I would hope the GM in this situation would be doing for the Hawks. Like, he's setting the Hawks up for the future, and getting Bedard is just the cherry on top that he, with what he's done, probably deserves.
Yeah. What else he said in that interview that I really liked was that everything that he's doing, it's not to make this team relevant again. It's to win multiple championships. Like, and that
is great.
Fucking let's go. I can give 2 shits about being relevant and all that. Like, I want the fucking championships. I want to be the bad guy. I want people pissed at us again.
I love him.
Let's go.
So you have the Stan Bowman clown shirt. You should make a Kyle Davidson version of that, but with like a crown on top. Just like
just king. Just a king shirt. From clown to king.
Man, I was so nervous because he learned, like, he was under Bowman, studied under Bowman, and I just got so nervous. And I was like, until I see something, now he has done so much to prove that he learned from Bowman to do the opposite. It's just
these young GMs are coming in and like just changing the game. I feel like, because they're like, they work the cap so well, like they understand like when to push for guys and when not to. Like, I feel like just the younger GMs are like figuring it out and actually doing what you're supposed to do.
And I feel like they're also trusting their scouts a bit better.
Yes.
Because
they also,
my favorite is what it's Hextall, who was like being told by his scouts during the 2017 draft season? I don't know. When they picked Nolan Patrick, and all of his scouts were saying to take Cale Makar, and he's like, "Nah, I got a feeling about this kid."
same with I don't know if it wasn't the GM, but it was like the owner, I think, with the Yakupov to Edmonton. Like, nobody in their system wanted him. Like, but they just
I
went
mean,
with
that
it.
draft was brutal anyway.
Yeah. But still, you could have had somebody better than that.
Absolutely.
These young GMs though too also have kind of an advantage because I mean the old school GMs got thrown into the salary cap situation. They kind of had to figure out as it going, and now all these younger guys kind of have seen, okay, well, this is how they fucked it up. Let's learn from that and
And
go.
they all use Cap Friendly,
Yeah.
which is amazing.
It's the best website.
It really is.
Um,
The guy does whatever he makes off that, it's not enough.
yeah.
I have ad blocker, and then I don't have it for Cap Friendly because I'm like, yeah, give them the revenue for that.
It's
the
fine.
ad stream revenue.
Yeah, first time it popped up, it's like, oh, we see you're using an ad blocker. Would you like to support us and have ads? Oh, fuck yeah, bud. Let's go.
Yeah. Cover my page. I want to just see one guy at a time. That's fine.
Oh man.
So talking about players that, you know, that he could potentially target, he made it clear too that the Kane and Taves era is done.
Yeah.
There is, as at least as of right now, there is no path for Kane to come back to Chicago to re-sign this offseason. I know Taves was already set in stone. We knew that he wasn't coming back.
I mean, from what Kane was saying, it didn't even cross his mind, it sounds like.
I mean,
yeah,
it doesn't make sense for Kane to come back anyway. But it's like, oh, like he can mentor Bedard. It's like, yeah, he wants to win right now, and like that's not the plan. That's not the path of action we're going for. But it really feels like that Toy Story moment where he drops Woody and he's got Buzz
I don't want
Lightyear.
to play with
And,
you.
and it's like that's Patrick Kane, and now we have Connor Bedard from 88 to 98. That's what it feels like. But
Oh,
now that we're like a
Out of a new reel to me.
little bit more removed from like really knowing that it's all over with Kane and Taves, like it sucked, but you know, like we're moving on, and
what a way
future
to
looks
go out.
bright. Yeah,
what a way to go out.
Yeah.
Now it's just time to get rid of Chelsea Dagger.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
Really cement that entire era is done.
Yeah, this team has no association with that team or those teams at all. Like it should be moved.
Let's be
moved
honest.
on.
That should have been retired after we got swept by Nashville.
Yeah. What? How
After
many
we
goals did he
traded
score?
Panarin for Brandon Saad.
Ugh. Light the lamp during the hockey playoffs with DraftKings Sportsbook right now. New customers can make a $5 bet and score $150 in bonus bets. Right now, the Florida Panthers are underdogs to finish up the 4-game sweep of the Toronto Maple Leafs. So if you are confident that you think they can do it, now's the time to put in a bet there. Right over at the DraftKings Sportsbook app. Download the DraftKings Sports app now and sign up with code THPN. New customers can make a $5 bet and instantly score $150 in bonus bets instantly. That's code THPN only at DraftKings Sportsbook. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In Massachusetts, call 800-327-5050 or visit gamblinghelpline.org. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. In Kansas, call 1-800-522-4700 on behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort, Kansas City. 21 plus in most eligible states, but age varies on jurisdiction. Eligibility restrictions apply. See show notes for offer details. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for details and state-specific responsibility gambling resources. Let's face it, with coffee starting at $5, yes, even without any customizations and our bank accounts always somehow depleting, we are officially entering a dupe session. Most products do the same thing, but are priced differently solely based on the brand name. So a good duplicate or dupe is crucial for getting the highest quality at the best price. One dupe you definitely shouldn't sleep on: Raycon wireless earbuds. Raycon is premium audio and the perfect price point so you can listen to what you want when you want without breaking the bank, which is going to be huge, especially if you're a Chicago Blackhawk fan, because now you're going to be needing as much money as possible to be buying up Connor Bedard Blackhawk jerseys and tickets to go see the next Connor McDavid live in the flesh in Chicago at the Madhouse. Let's go. Nothing better right now. Raycon's mission is to prove that you shouldn't have to pay an arm and a leg for quality sound and essential smart tech listening features. You can get a pair and a spare and still play less than you would with some of those other more big name tech brands out there. Raycon knows that in this economy, every purchase needs to be perfect. They offer buy now, pay later options right now, and you can pay as low as $18 at checkout. They have an easy and free return guarantee. They offer 2 years of product protection insurance for just a few bucks. They offer free domestic shipping and flat fee international shipping. They have over 50,000 5-star reviews talking about how comfortable the earbuds are, the noise canceling, the awareness mode, the customizable sound profiles, the water resistance, and 8 hours of playtime everyday earbuds. Go buy raycon.com/THPN today to get 15% off your Raycon order. That's buyraycon.com/THPN to score 15% off. Buyraycon.com/THPN. So looking,
what a weird time to be alive.
So looking at this team, kind of like as it sits now, with what we know, have Bedard, all that kind of stuff. Do you guys have like a wish list for the type of player you're hoping he brings in? Do you have like best case scenario moving up in the draft? Like, if we've talked about a lot of it, but like if you had to pick one thing or two things to put on a wish list for right now that you want to see, what would be like your priority for you?
I
Moving
really
up in the
want
draft or contracts, I guess.
I want to move up, and I mean, I know he's going to be aggressive in the draft, and I really can't wait to see like what kind of shit he pulls, which would be great. If he's able to pull, if like this would be insane. This would be kind of perfect. If he's able to pull off getting 8, that would be amazing, but 11 would be awesome. And if he's able to possibly bring DeBrincat back for cheaper than what we paid or cheaper than what we moved him for, like that would be like top of the list, like moving up in the draft and getting a fucking awesome winger. If anything, man, like just stick to the plan, like no long-term deals, fucking try and drill on some. Like, obviously, I don't think we should really use all 4 second-round picks. Like, I think that's stupid. Like, trade 2 or 3 of them. I don't even fucking care. Yeah. Move up in the draft and bring somebody in that's like DeBrincat, basically. Like, it's fucking awesome.
Yeah, like everything that he's saying, I want him to stick to it. Like, everything he's saying is exactly where I want his mindset to be and where I want the team to be going. So as long as, like Tanner said, like as long as he stands pat on where his ideas are right now, that I will be happy going into next season.
Yeah. And I know the answer to this, but I feel like it's got to just be asked. Don't even think about kicking the tires on any of the Toronto guys.
No.
Yeah, that's what I figured. No. Making sure. Yeah.
No, I mean,
because I know some people at some point people are going to.
Oh, you mean like to trade for this offseason? Like absolutely fucking not.
Yeah. Because I know someone's going to throw that out there, like, oh, the Hawks have all this cap space and draft capital. Why not bring in a William Nylander kind of thing? But it's like
that's the Seth Jones thing. That's completely the Seth Jones thing. Don't trade for him when he's going to be available the season after.
Yeah,
like you can just fucking sign him in free agency.
Yep, and it would honestly make more sense then because it's a whole nother year. Like, if you wait till he's a free agent, like say like Nylander, he has 1 more year left on his deal, and then that's like we keep saying, like that's the time you start to bring in those guys. Like you start to bring in like those veterans, those guys that are like right on the fringe of being old, but like still like in their prime. Like that's the exact time you would do it. So yeah, like I mean, I'm sure like Nylander's wherever he is gonna have an extension, so he's not gonna hit free agency. But and he's obviously gonna want more. He had to claw and fucking just to get that 6.9 that he's making. He's way undervalued like that.
Yeah.
But so I mean, like he's gonna want more. But I mean, I would love Nylander on the Hawks. I love Willie.
I think he would be amazing.
He would be. He really would be. And like you throw him a second. Like you add something.
You get every Nylander to play for the Hawks.
That's a box I wouldn't mind checking off, especially since we knocked out the fucking Alex and got him out of here real quick.
Yeah,
we flipped him for Lafferty and ended up. Did they they didn't get a first. Yeah, they got a first round in that trade, right? Because McKay was with them.
2024, right?
So yeah, you
Or 2025?
2025, I think.
You took the fuck up
25.
of Bowman
Yeah.
by trading Nylander.
And we
Trade
got Joey
for
Anderson
Nylander.
too, who's been playing pretty well.
Who?
Joey Anderson, who had like he played really well with Kyra and Kachuk. Like they were incredible as a third or fourth
like
line.
all the offense.
You flipped Alex Nylander, who, when he went to Pittsburgh, was an AHL player. Took an AHL player from them, turned him into an NHL player, flipped him at the deadline for first round pick and a good young player.
And they got a second.
I love Davidson. I just love Davidson. like just stick to the plan.
Yeah.
Like fuck the Shannon plan. I'm here for the Davidson plan all day.
Yeah.
There was one signing that was announced by the Hawks. Soderblom signed a 2-year extension, making $962K. People are saying he's probably going to be on the roster with him and Mrazek in the 1-2 position there next year. So
is what's his name from BU?
Comesso?
He signed, right?
He signed,
he signed.
So he'll be Rockford next year, I think.
Yeah.
I hope he gets a couple looks.
I bet he'll get a game or two.
Oh yeah, I mean,
I really
Mrazek's going to get hurt.
It's true.
So, like we're going to need somebody to back up, and it'll probably just be like what we did this past season, where Soderblom came up, then like either Stalock or Mrazek came back, and then Stauber came up when one of them got hurt, and then when he went back down, then when one of them got hurt again, Hudobin had a game, and it was just like, all right, like
how perfect is it that Mrazek has 1 year left in his contract too? We're not screwed on like having a goalie for like 6 more years at a bad contract. Like, it's just,
and like the thing about Mrazek too is that he didn't play bad this season. Like,
no, he really didn't.
He had a pretty good year. Like stats didn't show, but like he had like almost no help. And if he plays pretty good this next season, is healthy around the deadline, I'm sure some team's gonna want to look at him.
He actually he kept the games closer than they probably should, which is weird.
Oh, absolutely.
Because, like you said, his stats weren't good. Like the games that the Hawks played weren't good, but like he just kept them in it somehow, and he made like just the most ridiculous saves. It's like, what the fuck is he doing?
Because we talked about it on the show. We're like, God, I know we're trying to lose games, but it's like, can we just give him one win? Like,
one win.
Fucking deserves it.
but then they did it, and it was against what, fucking Pittsburgh, when we really needed a loss. Come on.
Hey, it worked out. It worked out in our favor. It's completely fine.
It went exactly how we planned it.
Yeah. All right, that's all I got for Hot Stock. You guys got anything?
I don't think so.
Hawks got Connor Bedard.
Bedard, baby.
Hawks are gonna get Connor Bedard. It's gonna be
Bedard. Hawks.
Do they release the jersey the second they say his name on like the Hawks website?
It would be perfect. It would just feel so good if I was able to go to the draft and buy a Bedard jersey in Nashville at Bridgestone,
and then possibly get it signed right away.
I've almost thought about pulling the trigger already. I just don't know. I'm like, is he?
I want to make sure it's the number. Like,
that's the thing. I'm like, is he gonna be 98? Is he gonna be 16? What's he gonna do?
I know.
I don't know if I can buy a 16 jersey.
That would hurt. Don't do it, Connor. For all of us.
I'm sure he'll go 98. That's gonna be.
Yeah. I mean,
nobody else has it.
So I told Tanner this last week. They were asking about his number, like how he came with his number. And so when he was 5 years old, whatever AAA team he was playing on, people were picking their numbers. 87 was popular because of Crosby. 97 was popular because of Barzell was like popular in that area. Grew up in the same area, and nobody was touching 99. So he goes, "Hey, I want number 98." And the guy that was doing the jersey is like, "Wait, who's number 98?" And his response was, "I am." And the guy's like, "You're 5 years old. Why are you talking like this?"
Dude, that kid, he's the shit, man.
I love it.
I love him so much. Also, nobody's ever worn 98 for the Blackhawks. So,
well, no, because for the longest time, Kane was the highest number with 88, and then Richardson came in with 91.
Brad Richardson.
Yeah,
Brad Richards.
Or Richards, yeah.
Yeah, I was like, what? Our coach?
Yeah.
Michael and Alex both wore 92.
92, yeah. So for a while,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
Well, Richards, Duclair, and Drake Caggiula all wore 91. Regula, Yannick Perreault wore 94.
God,
Scott Foster wore 90. How could you guys forget?
never forget it.
Doug Gilmore wore 93.
That's good. That's good.
That's weird.
All right, so switching over, second round recap really quick here. Prediction wise, I went 0 for 4. Tanner went 2 for 4.
Okay, yeah.
We both took Edmonton in 6. I took Seattle in 7. You took Dallas in 7. So you got that. Nailed it.
Nailed it.
Let's go.
We both took New Jersey. I took him in 6. You took him in 7. And then I took Toronto in 6, and you took Florida in 4.
Woof.
I was very close.
What a dick. I mean, you weren't very wrong, but what a dick.
Hey, I just said it was going to be the most Toronto thing to fucking happen. So I was super close. I also mentioned how I wanted to be completely wrong, but
Did.
hey,
I don't ever believe you when you say that, though. Because
I like Toronto.
How happy you get when you're right.
No, it's just I think it's really funny.
Yeah, exactly. So you don't actually care.
It's just because I think it's funny when I can just predict what Toronto's going to do, even though I want them to win.
Guys, we already talked about this. They were exactly what we thought they were. We don't have to talk about it.
I feel like Toronto's just that meme where it's like the guy riding the bike and he takes the stick.
No, it's the one where it's the guy walking into the rake and it hits him in the face, and it was like finally got past the first round and he's doing like the skateboard ollie like over the staircase, and it's a rake hitting him in the face.
Oh God. So
silly.
I guess my only questions about
If you don't laugh, it just seems mean.
my only questions about the second round is kind of like what is next for Toronto and Edmonton at this point? Like,
I mean, if I'm Edmonton, I'm upset. I'm mad.
Yeah.
But the biggest difference to me between Toronto and Edmonton, you know what's wrong with them. You know they need better goaltending, and you need more depth up front, or guys that actually show up in the playoffs. Like Evander Kane didn't do much this playoffs. Yamamoto had a really quiet second round. Nuge barely showed up. Like those guys, like you could fix that. Toronto and Edmonton has heart. They fucking want to win. Draisaitl scores 4 goals in the game, and somebody's asking him, like, "Oh, do you get any satisfaction?" No, we lost the game. Like, fuck that. Like, there's so much heart and so much want, and there's a killer instinct, especially just between McDavid and Draisaitl, so much that it pushes them as far as they can possibly go. If I'm Edmonton's fans, like, I'm not that worried. The only thing I'm worried about is Draisaitl's up after 2 years, and you got to figure out how to make that work.
yeah.
If I'm a Toronto fan, obviously, but like I'm worried because like they finally made it seem like they were going to show something in that first round. The coming back from a 4-1 and was it game 4 or whatever it was in the first round against Tampa, like getting outplayed every single game again in that first round, but coming out with a win, like making it happen. But then they show up against Florida and their fundamentals are garbage. Like there's no want. Like Florida just, and I know people are bitching about the refs, and I get that, but at the same time, like their power play went 1 for 8 against Florida. That can't happen. Like you're fucking stacked. You added Ryan O'Reilly. You have John Tavares and Ryan O'Reilly in front of the net. You have Morgan Riley quarterbacking it, and you have Marner and Matthews just getting set up for 1T on each side. Like you cannot go 1 for 8 against Florida. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, like, okay, there should have been penalties here and there. They proved that they wouldn't have done anything with those power plays anyways. Like, it's just, their blue lines were atrocious. Like, they're making dipsy doodle plays at their own blue lines, causing turnovers, and ended up in the back of their net. They're not making plays to get the puck deep in the offensive zone at Florida's blue lines, or when they do actually dump it in, there's no want to get the puck. They lose every race of the puck. Like, there's just no killer instinct on that team. And you brought in Conn Smythe winner Ryan O'Reilly, who said he lost his passion for hockey in Buffalo, went to St. Louis, turned that team around and won Conn Smythe, and he came in and he was making terrible plays. Like, it's genuinely something about that team that just turns everybody soft.
Is it a coaching issue?
No, I don't. I mean, Keith definitely got out coached. Like, he for sure got out coached. Justin Hall had the most minutes out of any defenseman in Game 4.
Yeah,
that's fucking insane.
Yeah.
Justin Hall sucks. He shouldn't have been on the ice. He's a garbage hockey player, and he won't be on the Leafs next year. Why is he playing the most minutes out of any defenseman? Like, it's like he got out coached, but I don't think it's the coach's fault. Like, just watching how they play, and like, you could just see, like, mentally, as soon as one bad thing happens, they're done. They're out of it. But like I said, you look at Edmonton, they could be down 4-0, and McDavid and Draisaitl are like, all right, let me put the team on my back. I fucking got this. Like,
yeah,
you just don't see it out of them.
I mean, when you're comparing the two teams in the playoffs, like, your big guns in Edmonton are putting up the fucking points. Draisaitl scored 13 fucking goals in how many games was it? Like 12 games.
Carter Verhaeghe broke the record for most playoff goals by a Florida Panther in their career, and it was 11. Draisaitl had 13 goals this playoffs.
Yeah, Carter Verhaeghe, also drafted by the Toronto Maple Leafs.
Yeah, bring that one up.
Yeah, but you have
just another draft pick that the Leafs had that kills them, like Tuukka Rask, whatever.
Yeah, there was like, your big guns really don't show up in the second round. Like, Mitch Marner had 14 points in the whole playoffs, but like the most goals that they had on the team was Matthews with 5, and he only had 11 points. Like, he's a point per game player, but how many of those points came in just the first round?
I was saying, because he didn't even have a point or at least a goal in that second round.
Yeah, they didn't score. They didn't score in the first 3 fucking games.
It's funny because everybody like talks about the core 4, and it's Marner, Matthews, Nylander, and Tavares, but like Morgan Rielly, hey, take it easy. Morgan Rielly makes more than Willie Nylander does, and he's been there the longest. And I would honestly say he was one of their best players in the playoffs. Like, he fucking stepped it up, and I've never seen him step it up the way he did this playoffs.
Yeah,
like, he was unreal.
He's second on the team in points, man.
Yeah. He had 4 goals all season and then capped 4 in the playoffs.
Plus the game winner, that one in OT.
Yeah, and then that almost goal in Game 5, like, he just looked different, and it sucks. It really sucks because, like, Matthews and I don't know what it is, but like they're so soft. Like,
there's not like a playoff switch for them. It seems like like every year it seems it comes down to just like they fucking end up just dying.
I don't know if you watch Shorzy.
Yeah,
there was like the whole line where he's sitting there talking like, oh, why these guys like they keep losing, and he goes, it's because they're not afraid to lose or something, or like
no. There was a kid that got like interviewed about it. It's on Instagram. It's the boys don't hate to lose.
Oh, don't hate to lose. Yeah,
they don't hate to lose. Like they like to win, but they don't fucking hate to lose.
Yes, and that's perfect. Like, it really is.
It's insane because you can see it all the time. It's like they're like, oh, I still believe in this team. That's why we should have done more. But it's like, how are you not just like, dude, this is fucking painful? Like,
it's the same bullshit fucking exit interviews every single year. Like, oh, we had it. Next year will be better. Like, I want to run it back with this group. And it's like, dude, like, that's what I'm saying. Like, Edmonton, it's clear cut what they need to do to become a better team in advance. Toronto, it's about the players. Like,
I don't know. Like, they need better goaltending. Do you think that they do another like fucking whole change on their back end like they've done like twice already?
So, no, I think they run it back with Samsonov and Joseph Wall, which I don't hate. I think Wall is going to be a very good goaltender. He wasn't bad in the playoffs at all. Samsonov proved he could probably be a 1A, 1B kind of starter, not a full-time starter, but like where he's splitting it with somebody.
Yeah.
And once the playoffs come around, whoever's hot runs with it. But it's going to be interesting because Dubas came out and said, like his contract's up and he doesn't have a contract. And he said he only wants to be a part of the Leafs. And then somebody asked him what would he do going into next season? And he said nothing would be off the table for trades, which, I mean, I'm not upset about it anymore. Like,
right.
It obviously doesn't work. And when you look at Florida, they won the President's Trophy and they traded away one of their most marketable and franchise players in Jonathan Huberdeau, over 100 points.
Yeah.
And it got fucking Kachuk, who's pushed them through any issues that they've had.
They not only traded Huberdeau, they traded one of their top point producing defensemen with Uyghur too.
Yep.
And they're like, we're gonna bring in Matthew Kachuk, and what a fucking deal that has been.
Yeah.
You know what's insane too? Matthew Kachuk only makes $9.5 million.
I know. And he signed an 8-year deal, didn't he?
Yep.
Is he a Hart? He's up for the Hart Award too, right?
Yeah. it doesn't matter.
No, I know it doesn't matter, but I'm just like that's. I mean, that's kind of saying a lot.
Yeah, I think it's pasta. Pasta and
honestly, like I didn't hate Matthew Kachuk in Calgary. Like, I liked watching him play, and I thought he was a fun player. I love him now.
Yeah.
I absolutely love him down there.
I mean, just the whole story of just they barely making it in the playoffs. They play one of the best teams record wise ever, and they fucking come back from being down 3-1 and fucking win it in OT in Game 7. And he was a huge role with that. Yeah. And then in the second round, I think the funniest thing was when everybody's talking about how Toronto, the big four guys, haven't scored a goal, and then Matthew Kachuk's I haven't scored a goal either. But it doesn't matter.
We're still winning. Yeah,
exactly.
I also love all these players. Just the interviews have gotten so much better. Him, Jack Hughes, his interviews. It's just oh my God. I know we talked about it last time I was on, but I'm falling in love with Jack Hughes and Matthew Kachuk. And it also makes me so happy that there's so many
USA players,
American-born players. You got Robertson and Ottinger in Dallas. You got Eichel down in fucking Vegas, even though I hate Vegas and I really don't like Eichel.
He won the first matchup against him in McDavid.
He is 2-0 in playoff series in his career.
Yeah, it's not too bad.
Yeah. And you got Kachuk down in Florida. USA hockey, man.
It's amazing
watch out
what can happen when you let players be themselves and not be the generic robot.
Yeah.
Copy paste.
Got a couple good players and
deep and Steve.
Yeah, honestly, that is funny shit though when you just repeat the same thing over and over again.
Other than obviously Toronto and Edmonton, and what they probably look forward into the next season, what do you think about Seattle just got bounced round 2? What do they do? They I don't even think this whole season anybody would have thought that they belonged there, but goddamn, that team got more playoff wins this season than Toronto, which is hilarious because that team was just there for each other. That's where that difference was. That you could see that team played they wanted to fucking win. They wanted to do it for each other. The whole season they didn't have anybody as a standout other than Jared McCann just quietly had 40 plus goals.
Yeah,
and
but their goaltending kind of cycled through some guys everybody just contributed. They fucking picked up Eli Tolvanen off of fucking waivers, and he just decided to turn it on in Seattle. And,
right. Yeah,
I mean, Bjorkstrand, Burakovsky,
they have 4 lines of second and third line guys.
Yeah.
And they just run it.
Yeah.
And Matty Beniers is going to be a superstar in this league.
Yeah, he's sick.
They're not going to need to go out and sign a big name person because of what Beniers is going to turn into.
They got Shane Wright in the system if he can develop. And
it's true. Yeah, I completely forgot that they have Wright.
I just wanted to bring up the fact that how about Game 7, Wyatt Johnston's fucking backhand goal?
When he did that, I was like, oh, fuck yes. And then they showed the replay, and I went, he went short side. I thought he put it far side. I could not believe it. That was disgusting.
Yeah, he tied Beniers in goal scoring for rookies this season.
Yeah.
Even though Beniers probably gets the Calder just straight points, but like holy shit, like
he didn't even get nominated.
Dallas, man, like that's insane.
I know.
Such a sick fucking goal. Oh my god.
Back to drafts, like Dallas just getting Ottinger, Robertson, and Heiskanen in a draft. Like, what the fuck?
Well, that's what I keep saying. Like, I really hope that this can be like our draft, like Dallas's 2017 draft. Because I mean, obviously, we're gonna get one of those three pieces, like with Bedard, but like guaranteed. But like, if our 19 can turn out to be anything like Ottinger, like,
or Heiskanen.
Obviously, we don't need a goalie, but like, if it can be anything like Ottinger or Robertson level, I mean, I think Robertson's going to be more of like the Bedard level. So like Heiskanen or Ottinger level of like any other kind of players with 19 and like maybe our second round pick at like 35, like that'd be sick. Yeah. But they fucking drilled 3 picks in a row, like so fucking hard.
Suck it, Boston. That's how you do 3 picks.
And now I fucking feel confident that it's doable with Katie and control.
Yeah, I mean, and the other good thing is we're not sucked into like shitty contracts that are. I mean, I wouldn't say Tyler Seguin and Jamie Benn are shitty contracts, but like they're older players that aren't going to be the ones contributing the most, but they're kind of hampering their. But they have those guys signed though. They somehow got Rupe Hintz, Jason Robertson signed. I'm sure
he's playing like even better than he did in San Jose.
The fact that Joe Pavelski came back from like having a concussion and scoring 4 fucking goals right away is insane to me.
Dude, I got a concussion before he did, and I still don't feel like I can skate. But no, like, I mean, even Sagan, like, he's not on a great contract, and he really hasn't lived up to that contract. But like, when Pavelski went down, he really fucking stepped it up against Minnesota. Like, he played like that contract. Like, he did everything he could. Like, it's just guys stepping up when they need to, you know.
Yeah, they're getting good, like a turnover.
I think I even said it here that I called Dallas phonies and I didn't like them, but man, they look fucking good.
They don't blow the team out that they're playing, but they play hard, and they've gone deep. What was their first round? Fuck.
Minnesota.
6.
Minnesota. They only went 6, right?
Yeah, it was 6.
Okay. Who was the other playoff series? Carolina,
New York.
Oh, the Devils. I don't know. What is it like? What do you think the Devils changed? Did the Devils change anything? I think that this year was one in the bank for them, just being like, hey, this is what we got to look forward to. I think it's kind of like it's almost similar in a way to like 08-09 Hawks.
I was just gonna say,
like your young studs are fucking showing up, and you know you make it to the playoffs, but you're playing a more seasoned fucking team, and maybe they'll play them again next year.
Now that they have a taste, it's like they know what it takes.
Yeah. How about that Eric Howless stat?
Oh yeah.
One first player ever to lose to one team in the playoffs 3 years in a row on 3 different teams.
Which is still wild that he was on Nashville for that one too.
Yeah, with the COVID like so weird shortened season.
God, dude, COVID was wild.
See, the thing with New Jersey for me is I'm more confident they are going to be a competitive team going forward. But the thing is I kind of need to see them do it 2 years in a row. Like, I feel they always have like a decent season and then they fall back down to earth, or because it's like I feel like we've been saying New Jersey is going to be so good for so many years now, and
I don't think so.
Yeah, no,
I've never said that.
It's been long. I feel like they've always make the right moves in free agency, bringing the right guys in, take to that next step.
It's like they're finally going to make a step forward this year,
and then they step.
Okay, I understand what you're saying now. Yeah.
So it's like now that they're good, it's like I really think they're going to be good going forward. I think they're set up great, but it's like I kind of need to see it before I'm like 100% all in on the Devils competitor.
Dude,
that's the one thing. Like
not only that, but they just had his brother. Like he'll get a full season in next year. Like he's gonna be nasty, and like
and he's gonna be on ELC too.
Yeah.
That's the time you win, man.
I feel like everybody was waiting for that fall off from them this year, and they just kept pushing. So like I feel like this is the year they proved it to everybody, not only because like where they ended up and making the playoffs and like winning that first round, especially against the Rangers, like just they were in first for so long, and everybody's like, oh, they're gonna fall off, they're gonna fall off, they're gonna fall off, and they just kept raking in wins, and like they just kept playing better and better. Like I don't think there's a fall off next year.
Yeah, I guess I'd be more like I'm to the point where I'm like I wouldn't be surprised either way if it happened if they continue to play the way they did this year, or if they took a step back and they like maybe are like the eighth seed or something. I would not be surprised at either way. But if
They
they
make
come
the
back
playoffs next year,
competitive,
though.
yeah,
I'm-
if they come back competitive like they were this year,
Let's just say
I'm all in.
I'm more worried if I'm the Rangers than if I'm the Devils fan. Like,
Yeah.
100%,
you know what I mean?
Yeah,
100%.
absolutely.
Which is funny because I feel like it was not that long ago that the Rangers sent out an email to their season ticket holders like, we're going in full rebuild, and it's like they want to trade Kako or Lafreniere, and like they just don't. I don't know. Like I don't know. It's just weird.
I hope, and that's what I hope Katie has learned from. Don't do that.
just because you got like they got Artemi Panarin as like a fucking gift because he didn't want to sign anywhere else, and like, oh, like we all of a sudden played really well this one season, like might as well just go all in.
Yeah.
All
right, so we're going pretty long here, so let's switch over to conference finals predictions here real quick. We'll start in the West. We got Vegas versus Dallas head to head. Dallas is 3-0 with 2 overtime wins. Couple Vegas leaders: Eichel 6 goals, 8 assists, 14 points. Stone 5 goals, 7 assists for 12 points. Dallas Hintz has 9 goals, 10 assists for 19 points. Robertson 2 goals, 10 assists for 12 points. And I put Domi on here just because I'm actually what a pickup for them actually, and he's been doing great down there. He's third on their team in scoring. 3 goals, 8 assists for 11 points. Who do you guys like?
Yeah, as soon as I saw Dallas picked up Domi, I was like, that's a perfect fit.
Oh yeah.
I really just want Dallas. I hate Vegas. I just really want Dallas, so I'm taking Dallas. Honestly, and I think they can do it, but like I want Dallas.
Yeah, same.
It's gonna be Dallas.
Yeah, how great! Like Dice had sent us that one. Was it Dice that sent us that picture where Vegas has made like the conference finals like 4 years?
Yeah.
Oh, was it Post?
I think
it was
so.
just like they've already made the conference final like 4 years out of the first like 6.
Mm-hmm.
It's like that's
and they only missed the playoffs once.
Exactly. So weird.
Yeah.
But I don't. Yeah. I would rather see Dallas win.
Give me Ottinger over Aiden Hill.
Yeah, man. Like
that's the thing. It's like the goaltending is so in Dallas's favor, but it's like I feel like Vegas.
But at the same time, Ottinger got pulled twice last series. Like I mean, every time he loses, he plays outstanding. He's got that fucking Vasilevsky gene where like if you lose, you're not gonna get 2 games in a row. But like,
I mean, he didn't allow a goal in Game 7 until like 16 seconds left. 17 seconds left.
Yeah,
it's like
I know, and I bet that they would win by 2.
Man. Oh my god. I think Dallas will be able to pull it off. It's just Vegas is on their like 4th string goalie right now, and then they have Quick too.
We're just chilling there waiting. Yeah,
so weird. I don't know. Who did Vegas even play around with? Oh, Winnipeg. Like Winnipeg was fucking nothing, and then Edmonton. Like Vegas is a more complete team as long as you can keep McDavid and Draisaitl somewhat reined in. Then their goaltending is fucking non-existent. Like
all they got was power play points between those two, and that's like they kept them off the
score.
Oh
yeah, it was like 5-on-5. They outscored them like a shit ton.
Yeah, I think
they have no depth, like you said. So like they played another team that wasn't a very complete team, and I think Dallas is a much better complete team.
Yeah,
and Dallas has played like some better teams than I think Vegas has. Like Minnesota wasn't terrible. Minnesota was pretty fucking good.
I honestly thought Minnesota was going to win that series. Like they're that's a deep team too. I mean,
that's the thing. You should never think that Minnesota is going to make it out of the first round. And then Seattle was just playing. Seattle, like we said, Seattle's just full of second and third line players like throughout the entire lineup. So like no matter who's out there, like they're coming at you. Like you better hope that your 4th line guys can keep up. And they, I mean, went to 7, but they did it.
Yeah.
I think, Dallas has had like a harder road to get to the conference final. And I think that they're a little bit more well prepared, but it's just because I have a bias against Vegas, and Vegas is going to probably fucking sweep them.
I mean, I hate Vegas. I'm taking Vegas, but I'm thinking it's going to go 7. And I think that, like you said,
If it goes 7,
it goes 7.
You gotta take Dallas.
Yeah.
Peter Dwar 7-0 in Game 7s as a coach.
Is he really? That's crazy.
Damn.
Oh, wait, DeBoer is the coach in Dallas?
Yeah. He got fired by Vegas.
Little Vegas revenge.
Yeah.
Ah.
I think that is kind of a thing too. Like, you know what I mean? Like, he
knows the team.
He knows the team. Like, obviously Cassidy has a different game plan for them, but yeah.
But he knows like the players' strengths and shit,
right?
Like, a little bit more intimately than just like a scouting report.
Also, Pavelski's one of the biggest gamers in the NHL.
Dude, Pavelski's on one this year.
Unreal.
All right, Eastern Conference, Carolina versus Florida, head to head. Carolina was up 2-1. Carolina leaders, Aho 5-5 for 10. Was it Martinuk?
Martinuk.
3, 7, and 10. And an interesting stat kind of shows like how Carolina's doing it. 4 other players are tied with 8 points: Foss, Jarvis, Burns, and Stahl. So they're getting from everybody on their team.
Yeah, Jesper Foss also has like 2 fucking overtime goals.
Yeah. Florida leaders Kachuk 5-11 for 16. Don't even know how to pronounce fucking names.
Verhaeghe.
That's what I thought too. Damn it. I should have just went with it. 5, 7, and 12, and Monador 6, 3, and 9. And he's been coming a fucking clutch too for Florida this year.
Yeah.
One big thing for Carolina too is potentially Teravainen coming back.
Yeah.
So that is a big addition for the Hurricanes if that pans out.
So I mean, we talked about goaltending in the last series. Like, goaltending in this series, Bob's been great and like Freddie's been great, but like I'm just waiting for like playoff Freddie to show up because we know who playoff Freddie is. You know what I mean? And like when Bob's on, like Bob's on. So like I don't know, it's gonna be a close series, but Carolina's playing way better than I thought they would, especially going down Teravainen, not having Pacioretty, not having Svechnikov. Like, I didn't know if they would have the scoring, but fucking Jordan Martinook was on waivers at the beginning of the year. Now he's topping on their team in points. Like, they're so deep, and I think we talked about it last time I was on. Their defense is just fucking insane.
Yeah.
So it's going to be interesting. I mean, Florida's been playing awesome, but this Carolina team, man, I don't know how you go against a team that's coached by Rod the Bod.
It's crazy too is the fact they're doing it without 2 guys that could be making huge impacts on their team, with Svechnikov and Pacioretty.
I mean, Pacioretty's a 40-goal scorer, like Money in the Bank, and Svechnikov's on his way to becoming the same thing.
And they're doing it without Teravainen too. I know he's not the big point getter, but he's a big part of that offense when he's healthy.
He won a cup in 2015, so I mean that always helps.
And everything you said,
Carolina.
I agree with everything you're saying, and the smart choice is Carolina, but I'm taking Florida just because I fucking love the storyline of what they're doing. And you know,
Florida's taking down every fucking team that's better than them on paper, and they're getting it's getting easier for them. Like they'll just like sweep Carolina, and then they'll win the Stanley Cup in 3 games.
Can I argue that Carolina's not better than them on paper?
I mean, yeah.
I'd say they're pretty equal, if not like Florida on paper might be better actually.
Yes, this playoff Florida team.
Florida has a better team on paper than Carolina.
I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Carolina.
I mean, Jordan Martinook is the second in points on their team.
Yeah,
like,
isn't that weird?
Yeah.
It's not even like Aho, Teravainen. I don't even know who else is like big guy on their team. Oh, Aho is on the Aho is like
Aho's first, yeah.
Aho's first. Fucking stupid. Yeah, I don't know. I forgot they have Shane Goss to spare.
Brent Burns is lighting it up for them too.
Oh, fucking Jesse Puljujarvi too. Oh my god.
Yeah. And Kakaniemi.
Yeah, right.
All of your guys that you don't want.
All the Finnish players that like aren't really. Oh, I guess Puljujarvi's Swedish.
Did you
He's
text
gonna-
somebody, Tanner? Because my headphones unplugged, so I missed like a good chunk.
What?
Did you? Who did you take? Because my
Oh, I didn't
headphones
take
unplugged.
anybody.
Okay. Because right as soon as you started talking, I fucking pulled my headphone out and I'm like just nodding my head and agreeing with whatever you're saying.
Okay, I was gonna say I mean I'll probably just take Florida because like they're just rolling. Like that team is on one right now, and I just
It's the 2012 LA
it's
Kings.
weird, but it's weird though because like I haven't watched a single Carolina game this playoffs.
Dude, they're fucking good, man.
I know they're good. It's just I didn't watch them play the Islanders and I didn't watch them play the Devils. Like I was more interested in like a few other series each time.
But that's the thing. Like they can play any game. Like the Islanders play shutdown, Carolina can play shutdown. Like
Yeah,
Devils play run and gun hockey, Carolina can play run and gun hockey. Like they can match whatever kind of game.
Carolina has like one of the best two-way centers in Jordan Staal, and they also have one of the best like defensive, like I guess two-way defenseman, but more of defensive defenseman, Jakob Slavin. I think at Brent Burns that's just gonna fucking fire from the point.
All three Stahl brothers are playing each other.
Yeah, guaranteed one.
Oh
to the Stanley Cup.
Yeah,
for the first time since 2007, 8.
I do got one question.
2009.
About this conference final. Well, two questions. First off,
2014.
Is this the first? I just haven't like been paying attention, but is it? Do you see more people calling it the Final Four this year than in years past?
Kind of, yeah. I've noticed that. And I'm just like,
yeah,
like ESPN.
Different. I'm just like, okay.
Oh, speaking of ESPN, how about the controversy between starting the Edmonton game
Sunday Night Baseball?
Yeah, with a 9-1 blowout, fucking split screen.
Or how about that? There's one NHL game going on, and ESPN could put it in prime time,
and it's the best player in the world. And there's
fucking
goals in the first 5 minutes of the game.
9 o'clock at night.
Yeah,
it's a joke. And then two, do you consider Vegas a Southern team?
Geographically, I guess. I feel like anything like west of Texas isn't a Southern team, even if they're like in like the floor of Arizona. Like it's not a Southern team to me.
Like everybody keeps calling like, oh, the All South Conference Final, and I'm like Vegas isn't South though. Like
it's not.
Yeah,
it's just like West.
Yeah, just all right.
Like saying LA is South.
Like Dallas is South.
I consider Arizona,
Florida South,
New Mexico, Texas, like that South.
Yeah.
All right, that's all I got.
You guys want trivia?
Yeah, why not? Let's end it.
little Hawks playoff trivia.
Oh no!
How many times? And it's going to be kind of easy, but like who have they played in Stanley Cup final appearances?
How many Stanley Cup final appearances?
Yes.
Who have they played?
Both. So how many times have they made it to the final, and then who have they played in those finals?
Tampa.
Well, how many times have they made it? They made it. I don't know. Like, I don't know the like way back. Back when. Let's say 12.
9.
13.
Oh, that's close.
Come on, Jarom.
I mean, one was Pittsburgh that they lost.
Yep.
Then we have, who did we beat? Philly.
Yep.
Tampa.
Boston, Tampa. Yep. And then it gets kind of easy.
Let's toss Rangers in. Let's toss Detroit.
Yeah.
Toronto.
One. I know we beat Toronto. Detroit at least once.
Montreal.
So yeah, that's really funny. You said the Rangers is the only original 16 they've never played.
I was like, who's an East Coast team? It's like, Rangers.
So 31 they lost to the Canadiens. 34 they beat Detroit. 38 they beat Toronto. 44 they lost to Montreal. 61 they beat Detroit. 62 they lost to Toronto. 65 lost to Montreal. 71 lost to Montreal. 73 lost to Montreal.
Oh my god.
72 lost to Pittsburgh, and then Philly, Boston, Tampa.
So out of the 13, there's only been
1, 2,
3 against not original 6 teams.
Yep.
and only 7 teams total.
4.
That's funny.
4
against 4.
Yeah, because
Pittsburgh.
Philly, Pittsburgh, Toronto, or Tampa and Boston.
Are you talking about wins or just appearances?
Oh, I was talking about appearances. Sorry.
Oh, Tanner, what are you saying?
I was saying there was only 3 times that they didn't play an original 16 out of 13.
4.
Oh no,
Who's 4?
3. We keep saying Boston.
Yeah, why are you saying Boston?
Oh my God, yeah, Boston. Shouldn't happen like 10 years ago. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, 3. And 2 of them were expansion. Expansion 6. Pittsburgh and Philly are both.
Yeah.
So out of the first 12 teams.
That's funny.
Yeah. So yeah.
Right. Well, that's episode 224. Tanner, what are you calling it?
Oh man, I just keep thinking like countdown to Bedard, but like it's still playoff hockey, so it's conference semis fun time.
Conference semi for Bedard.
Conference semi
SemiHard.
Conference semi there to get Bedard.
So wait, what do you? Oh, sorry, I like.
I like your conference SemiHard. I like conference SemiHard.
Conference SemiHard.
SemiHard. All right. So episode 224 of conference SemiHard. I wonder if we'll get shit for that one.
Fucking stupid.
Make sure to follow.
Can you fit in conference SemiHard for Bedard or no?
No, that's gonna be way too long.
So
that's what I was trying to think. I was trying to think of like something like to shrink it and include both of it, but like get hard for Bedard, conference hard. I don't know. Episode 224. Make sure to follow us on social media at WCB Podcast. Subscribe to the YouTube channel, the Spotify, Apple Podcast. Follow the Hockey Podcast Network. Promo code THPN on DraftKings and Raycon, get 50% off headphones. Yeah, and we'll see you on the next one.
All right. Love you, boys.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to the WCB Podcast. Be sure to subscribe wherever you heard this podcast. To connect with Jarom and Tanner, check out the boys at WCB Podcast on all social media. We'll see you next time.